Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is the voice of the land. It's the first episode of 2025, so let us be among the last. As Chris Berman always used to say before and after every single holiday, let us be among the last to wish you a very happy new year here in 2025. I am Kevin Arnold. He is always Positive J. We're working on getting some new opens and stuff. You see the new setup right here. A nice little professional setup. Now we're at a table. Jay doesn't know how to push a chair in to get closer to a microphone. So we're working through things, but look, bigger and better things coming in 2025 for the Voice of the Land. We want to thank, of course, the Big Play Network and our partner LPV Productions, plus our other partner, Greeny Sports Cards. Visit them at greenysportscards.com. More information as the show goes on. Tell you all about Greeny Sports Cards. What a great group they are. But we got to get to our first guest. Yes, first, not just only guest, but first guest of the night.
We got a packed show tonight.
We got a packed show, and you want to get out of here after 45 minutes. So we will see what we can do.
We're selfishly want to see this into the Cavs game.
Just the Cavs battle in a tight one against the Oklahoma City Thunder at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. But a team coming off of a championship run, their fifth in franchise history. That is the Cleveland Crunch Director of Marketing, Ryan Ruiz, joins us now on the show. Ryan, what a season it was last year, but I know these guys are hungry for a lot more coming up in 2025.
We are hungry. Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year,
Ryan.
Ryan.
We are hungry. Obviously, I love this team. I love this organization. But you're only as good as your last season, and it's time to move on. We got a great celebration coming this weekend. Got to take care of business, one game at a time, one quarter at a time. Go 1-0 this week, and just keep on pushing.
Crunch coming off of a 16-1 win over Fort Wayne in Indiana. And Ryan, you talk about a great celebration for the championship. We all know, the last time this team was coming off a championship, I think you got to have a home game as the first one. So have the celebration and then put that season behind you. Does it maybe help the team this year that they had a game to know that they're in another season coming into this celebration and knowing that they're trying to chase another one of those?
I think so. If you think back to last season, we went on the road to Grand Rapids the first game and we lost. And we came back home and we were very, humble. And I think we rattled off 7 wins in a row after that. So I think it definitely it helps that we were able to play Orlando in that exhibition. That was a great showing. And then to just go there and take care of business. I remember talking to our captain, Dave Jordan, before the game. And I said, just handle your business, DJ. Just lead like you always do and handle your business. And he sent me a text right after. And he's like, we handled our business, Ryan.
well, let's keep that message going. It is 1 week at a time and it's 1 quarter at a time for this team. That's the championship standard. And that never goes away. Even when the team was brought back and the reiteration of it, the championship standards definitely stay the same. 3 championships the first time the Crunch were around, and now 2 so far in this iteration here in the 2020s. Ryan, the celebration, though, first off, are tickets still available for the home opener?
Still available. Very limited. Very limited. Seats are still available. It's going to sell out. I imagine we're going to be announcing the sellout here in the next 48 hours. But, yeah, they are still available. You guys know the atmosphere there. The place is packed. We transformed the Sportsplex into a decent size arena, and a lot of people are standing. A lot of awesome surprises coming this year. One thing that we do not believe in the organization is stagnancy. Mm-hmm. Is always trying to up our game, always trying to get better. Just every day working. And that's what we're going to accomplish on Saturday.
And come Saturday, just talk to the fans that are going and those that haven't. You can always get your tickets. The link through theclevelandcrunch.com, but where else can they go through? Because I know you guys have like a site where tickets are being sold at, Ryan.
Yeah, it's Tixer. if you just go to theclevelandcrunch.com, it'll take you to the Tixer site. Very user-friendly, very easy to use. Since we've gone to Tixer over the last 2 seasons now, it's definitely been way better at the door as far as scanning tickets with our scanners, and it's very user-friendly to do that.
Yeah, last time I saw you was in the summer over in the East Bank of the Flats, and you had that beautiful looking trophy with you, man. I'm assuming you're bringing it to the home opener.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. Yep, we're going to be raising the banner too, or dropping the banner for the 2024 championship. So that'll be a good time. Talked to a handful of players from the 2024 roster that are not on the roster this year that will also be in attendance and receiving their rings. So lots of exciting stuff. You know, with the Cleveland Crunch home game, it's not a game, it's a party. And
Yes, my
that's what
nephew he hasn't stopped asking me about when they playing again. Are they coming? Are they back? And I'm like, yeah, dude, they'll be back. I mean, they're not going anywhere. Don't worry. And he had an absolute blast when he went.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about it, and you know what, guys, that's what it's all about. It's about bringing those memories to kids and adults that are still kids at heart and remember the Crunch, and we try to incorporate the past with the present and also put our own little taste on it, and that's what we've done in the last 5 seasons is won 2 championships, one from MASL2 and one from MLIS, and God willing, come April of 25 here,
Start of a dynasty, hopefully.
Maybe we could put a championship, win a championship in downtown Cleveland. Wouldn't that be something?
Speaking of that, Ryan Ruiz, Director of Marketing for the Cleveland Crunch, is joining us. Home opener this coming Saturday, 7 o'clock. And they were going to be taking on the team from Lansing State up north. Is it Red Cedar FC?
Red Cedar FC, yep.
So they will be taking them on championship celebration beforehand to celebrate last year's championship. But you talk about trying to tie the past with the present, putting your own spin on it. And that's what successful organizations do. They don't hide from the past, but they also try to make sure that the newest chapter of it says something and puts a big statement out there, as you guys always try to do. And something that you guys are doing to hearken to the past, the old home for the Cleveland Crunch. So I know my friends, myself, a lot of people that grew up in my generation going to games, and the kids that got to go and get Hector Marinero bobbleheads, soccer balls, all that type of stuff, that family atmosphere. Used to be the Convocation Center, now the Wolstein Center on the campus of Cleveland State. The championships for both the women's and men's MLIS will be determined here in downtown Cleveland. Just talk about, Ryan, the ability to get back to the campus of Cleveland State and the way you guys just continue to try to grow things year in and year out.
If you guys only knew the amount of time and energy and everything that's gone into the meetings and the back and forth, you know, we tried to learn from the IX Center experience. Sorry, I'm losing you on the camera. Learn from the IX Center, and, you know, a lot of negotiation, a lot of meetings with the Wolstein Center, and that was the goal. And they wanted us. I mean, they wanted us. Ideally, I'd love to have us play there full time. I think that by getting back there and landing these playoffs in Cleveland and hosting these great teams, I think if we have a great showing, I think we're going to show them that, you know, the Crunch could come back to Cleveland, to downtown Cleveland as a home anyways.
Absolutely. And that's part of the goal. But what I love about and being a part of the organization myself, being able to be the voices, which Ryan, I can't thank you and the Rashido family enough for continuing to allow me the opportunity to do that, because I'm living out basically a childhood dream that I didn't even know was
I'm just calling him your guys' good luck charm, by the way, so you can't get rid of him.
Let's
Hey,
easy.
these are my words, not Kevin's.
Yes, yeah. But it's a proud thing to be a part of an organization that, yes, you're trying to grow things, but you've done it the right way. Like the organization has done it the right way, not trying to go too big, too fast, and yet still with the big expectations. How do you guys, in conversations, especially in the off season, like what is that ideation type conversation like between you, the Rashidos, and everybody involved in the organization?
We just, again, it never, there is no off season for us. It's always thinking, okay, what can we do better? How can we improve? What did we do wrong? And it's always going back to that board and saying, okay, well, maybe if we can do this and maybe if we can do that, and hosting more camps and just doing anything we can out in the community. I feel like since my time joining the organization, which this is now my fourth season, I feel like now the handful of events that we had before the season, like the trick or treat at Giant Eagle and Strongsville, I feel like now people are actually saying, "Oh yeah, the Cleveland Crunch, we know you're back." Whereas in 3-4 years ago, even when we won our first championship, oh my God, we didn't even know the Crunch were back. So it's becoming less of that, and I think if you can continue to close that gap and keep making people aware that the Crunch are back. We're here to stay. We're doing everything in our power. I mean, Kevin, you've called pretty much every home game since I've been with the organization. And do you know how many times we've lost at home?
Isn't it once?
One time.
In overtime.
Wow.
Sudden death
One
overtime.
time.
Yeah. They haven't been beaten in regulation at home.
Against that team up north.
Yep.
I'm going to go back to what I said before. Kevin's the good luck charm. It's clear as day now.
It helps when you have talent like Mikey Derizic. Happy birthday to him. You have Mario Musa in goal. You have former high school teammate of mine, Admir Slivovich. You have a little Wycliffe flavor in there. Those things help, but I appreciate that, Jay. Ryan, again, we're going to continue to have you and the players on throughout the season as we always do because, look, I mean, I'm someone that I've started to care about myself a little bit and try to build opportunities, but I still care about so many other people and the platforms that I've been afforded the opportunity to have. I will continue to push it. The office space that I work in, there's a camera during our shows on the radio station, and I've been wearing this scarf all week long to help try to just push the message any way that we can for fans out there that are learning that the Crunch are back or they want to get out to a game. Just tell them where they can get tickets again one more time and what fans can expect, not just at this big home game this week, but home games throughout the season.
You can get tickets at theclevelandcrunch.com. There's a link there that'll take you to the Tixer website. You can pick and choose what games you want to go to, and there's all kinds of easy buttons that will allow you to get early access if you want and things like that. What you can expect from this season, I will tell you just from being at practice here the last couple months, this team is hungry. They are not falling back at all. This team has arguably more talent than it did last year. I think we did a great job scouting. I think we did a great job finding some new talent, and you're going to see some of that talent on the field this year. And then you can expect a family, fun atmosphere that you can take your kids to, and you can grow memories, and you can watch us score one of our 11 goals that we averaged last year, and and you can catch some soccer balls being thrown out. I mean, it's just there's always something going on. We're always trying to up our game. The one thing that people don't realize behind the scenes is there's so much production, just like Peter and LPV Productions puts on. There's so much production behind the scenes that people do not see, and all the hard work. And that's a big shout out to our organization and my team that helps us put this together. And, it's just, I'm ear to ear because just like you, Kevin, it's very nostalgic for me from my father having season tickets to the Force at the Coliseum, to watching the Crunch at the Convocation Center, also watching them at the Coliseum in their earlier days, and now to be a co-owner of this team and have the role that I have and all the time and energy that I put into it. I love it. I love it. I love this team. I love this organization. I'm thankful for LPP Productions and all of our sponsors and all of our partners, because Peter puts the best show. You guys put the best show in the MLS on every game, and it is very appreciative.
And there's never a moment where Peter's not thinking about how he can add new elements for fans that watch at home and all those things that they don't get tickets to the games. Go to theclevelandcrunch.com, get your tickets, get out to a game this year. The nostalgia is there. Ryan, my son might need a seat right along the glass because he's already learned how to smack the glass and all of that kind of stuff, which is a special moment for me, as I know with your kids, to see my kid, getting into it at such an early age. And, it's just a blessing to be able to have those moments, to create those memories that I got a chance to create with my parents as well. Ryan Ruiz, Director of Marketing, co-owner of the Cleveland Crunch. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I look forward to being there on Saturday, and let's go get another one this season.
Hey, real quick, Kevin, the first 500 fans will receive a limited edition championship print from Staples, a championship photo from Staples, the presenter. And that right hand that you have of yours is going to look real nice with some hardware on it.
Yes, we will show that off next week on the show.
Hardware.
Yeah, I get a little hardware.
My guy.
Yes. Yeah. I kept the secret. Like, it was supposed to be a secret up until game night, but
I'm gonna ask though. I need a shirt, man, to save me one. So only the 499 first fans can make it.
We got you. We got you. We got you.
A shirt or you want a Crunch shirt or a picture?
They're giving out pictures this week.
Oh, I'll take the picture then. Yeah, I'll put that on my wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the man cave in the basement. It'll go on the wall of fame there.
He's got the man cave all set up, right? he definitely does. We thank you so much for your time tonight. And again, look forward to seeing you on Saturday nights. Bringing the family with me, and it's going to be a great time out at the Sportsplex for the Cleveland Crunch.
All right. I appreciate you guys. Go Crunch.
Go Crunch. Ryan Ruiz, Director of Marketing and co-owner of the Cleveland Crunch, coming off of a championship. And there's a team that is
playing in that beautiful background we have right now.
Oh, my gosh. That is –
I love it.
There is a team that's playing that beautiful background. I was about to kind of like do like a long transition to our next guest.
Oh, I know, but I keep looking at my phone.
I know. The Cavs are up by 3 at half. Like, this is what you would expect, a close game. It's a little bit it's a little higher scoring than I thought, which kind of goes in the favor of the Cavs more so than Oklahoma City, because Oklahoma City, they want to defend, they want to turn you over, they'll get out in transition. That's why they score so many points in their games, is because they get so many easy opportunities at the basket, because they're making so many steals and disrupting so many things. But Cleveland has showed up and showed out tonight already. Like, I was listening to the radio on the way in, and these guys are like yelling into their microphones. They have headsets just like we have on. If you're listening to the audio back of this show or just listening to us, we have headphones on, and usually would have a microphone, which is what I'll have on Saturday calling the Crunch game. And like they feel like they have to talk over people because the buzz, the energy, the anticipation, the intensity inside the building, you could feel it coming through. You can feel it coming through your device right now. Like how much Cleveland understands the moment and shows up for the moment when they need to.
Yes, we do. And we got even another bigger moment right here, right now with the Buckeyes. And we got an awesome guest coming on, MekkDon, my man.
What's going on, fellas? How you guys
What's
doing?
up, Mekka? How are you?
Welcome back, bro.
Thanks for having me. How you doing?
Great. I mean, dude, you're doing amazing. I'm loving the song. I was going to ask Peter. I know you probably can't play because we'll break all the YouTube laws and all that fun stuff. And I almost did that once already on our show, and I ain't doing it twice.
Oh no, you can play it. I own the song, so there's no worries there.
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. How you enjoying this this run so far?
It's been a ride, man. You know, just like the song "Buckle Up," right? I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. You know, I think the college football season, we have to, as we've known it, is now going to be different. Like the expectations for what a quote unquote good season is, right? How many losses you can have, you know,
it's more like the NFL.
It's much more like the NFL now, you know? And so, you know, I've enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, you know, losing to Michigan is a killer and still stings and will always sting, but I'm enjoying this run in the playoffs so far so much.
I asked this question on Twitter and I can't believe the response. It was it was nearly 50-50. It is would you rather beat Michigan or win a national championship? And part of me didn't want to even answer because it feels dirty answering because I don't want to do either. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. A natty's a natty. And that's what I think the unfortunate thing of this playoffs, it kind of took a little of the luster of like if you win or lose in that game. I mean, the matchup's always going to be the matchup, and they're always. I mean, we're going to hate them, so always we always will.
Yeah.
But if we lose to them, it's not as devastating as it once was.
It's not, and I mean, obviously, I'd rather win a national championship. But one of the things that I will also say too that takes a little bit of the sting potentially off of this particular run is the road that we would have to go through to win. If we had the Boise State road, you know what I mean, like you know, SMU road, and we're playing those guys, that wouldn't feel great to me, you know. But going through and dominating an SEC team at home, smashing the number one team in the country, then if we beat Texas and then beat either Notre Dame or Penn State, I feel like if you're not satisfied with that, then I mean I don't know.
It's like what Travis or Kelsey was just saying, like we're playing Mortal Kombat, but our setting's on hard, bro. Like, we got a master boss every single time. It's like, all right,
and we kind of deserve this route to be honest. I mean, obviously losing a game like that at the end of the season, I think this is the route we deserve, and I'm happy that we actually have this route because I think it will make everyone feel, well, most people feel like real gratification if we go on and win.
There's going to be the fans that even if they win the whole thing, they're going to be like, well, you know, Ryan Day should still go because they didn't beat that team up north and he hasn't beat them 4 straight years. There's fan is short for fanatic for a reason. And there's plenty of that in the Ohio State thing and the Ohio State nation, but also in other fan bases as well. But do you feel like Ryan Day, I know that he will be kept by the school, but in your opinion, if you're allowed to say that or not, because I know your song is big down there with the program and big member of the program. But does Ryan Day need to win the national championship to solidify his spot as at the helm of one of the biggest programs in all of the country?
You know, before the playoffs started, I think a lot of us as in like, you know, kind of former players and people that kind of in those circles, we're kind of saying, even Chris Carter said it, you know, that's my business partner. He said it out loud, like Ryan's going to have to win the national championship or else they got to let him go. I think though that, you know, as each new data point, you kind of get each new data point, kind of people's minds change, right? So I think part of what we want to see is, do we have a healthy program? Can we win the big games, right? Obviously we want to beat Michigan, but that's not the only game we want to win. We want to win big games. Can you actually do it? And so I think that his showing so far, I mean, it's going to be really hard to argue that he's got to go. Now, that being said, I think that, you know, the seat will be warm, very much so, when it goes into next year, right? We're not going to accept that Ohio State. The fans are not going to accept losing to Michigan every single year just because you make the playoffs. We should make the playoffs every year, right? So that's no longer going to be like kind of a saving grace. So I think that the one thing that I will say is that when people try to make these comparisons between him and Cooper, for example, you know, Cooper was one of my coaches. The players love Ryan Day. Like, they absolutely love him and believe in him.
I think
and that's different. Yeah.
I think all this chatter, like he's got to win the national championship or he's gone. The players saw that, they heard that, and they're like, no, this is our guy. We can't
our
have
guy.
that. I want to be back next year with him, no one else.
Yes.
And it lit a fire under their ass, like, because they're playing, like, you could see it, they're playing for him. And
100%.
like, I don't like at this point, I'm not sure he even needs to win the national championship. I think the players are showing like, no, he's our guy. And
no, I
was on the other side of the fence of this. I thought after Michigan, I'm an emotional dude, and I was fired up, and I was like, dude, this guy's got to go. He's got to go. But once you, like you said, once you calm down, you got your emotions, and you see how these players are reacting to it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, your problem wasn't winning the big one, but now they're winning these big ones.
Well, here's the other thing too. I tell people about too. It's like, all right, and when people say, who are you going to get? I don't buy that argument. I think you're Ohio State. You go find somebody, right?
Yeah.
But I do think though that you set a standard that's crazy if you now fire the guy who just went to the semifinals and the playoffs, who just smashed the number one team in the country, who beat an SEC team, who clearly is going to be probably competitive in these last two games, or even if they somehow stumble, and then you say, all right, you're out of here. Like, who's going to want that job? Like, so wait, you mean to tell me I win 10, 11 games every single year? I can go to the playoffs. I've been pretty much a field goal away from winning a national championship, a few years ago against Georgia. And then, we go beat TCU for sure. And I'm gone. So it's rough because people outside of Buckeye Nation, they don't understand how serious that Michigan game is to us. So it looks crazy. We look like we're lunatics. Like,
I mean, we are. We definitely are. We're definitely a bunch of buck nuts. Let's not be.
Yeah.
That's where the term, Buckeye honk comes from. But in every fan base, there are Buckeye honks, and not because they're from Ohio. But what I mean is the ones that take it too far. And it's a very small group that then to the rest of the country, to everybody from the outside looking in, misrepresents the way that Buckeye Nation is. Yes, we are intense.
Yeah.
Yes, we are scarlet and gray to our absolute core. But in every fan base, there are those ones that are going to take it too far, and then they get the most run because people want to focus on the negative and not actually the positive. What have you made, Mekka, of a guy like Jeremiah Smith that comes in as a true freshman and people talking right now as we get into draft conversations, and unfortunately for our Browns, we got to do that once again at the top of a draft. But people saying if he were eligible right now, he would be at the top of the draft, if not the number one pick.
Yeah, I mean, I remember preseason talking to some of the coaches and players on the team, and they were like, trying to say that he's going to be the best player without saying it. Because, obviously until you see it, you don't want to say it. You don't want to jinx the guy. But I remember somebody over at the program told me, they're like, listen, that dude is probably going to be the best dude on this team. And I was like, what? Like, that's crazy. First of all, they don't want to say that, even if they think it. Like, you just don't want to say it about a freshman before they put their pads on and, play their first game. But I think that, as you watch him and, and then you also listen to analysis of some of the legends and people who like really know this game early on, there's things that you could tell about him that were different. Obviously, physically, he's gifted. But I think the thing that is probably the most underrated thing about him, which is because we don't see it, is his mindset, right? So it's his work ethic. First of all, he's unbelievable work ethic. It's the work ethic of Jordan, right? This is LeBron, Jordan, those guys, that range, right? And then the mindset of never kind of being satisfied, right? So putting in the extra work. He knows he's physically gifted and talented, but he's not, and he's very confident, but he's not really arrogant, right? And so I think that when you have that type of mindset, and then literally wanting to be the greatest ever, right? There's a difference between wanting to be great, wanting to be good, wanting to go to the league, to want to say like, I want to be the greatest ever. When I watch him, that's what I feel like I'm watching. I feel like I'm watching someone who says, I want to be the greatest wide receiver who's ever played this game. And so I'm not surprised at all by what he's doing. I think the Michigan game probably pissed him off beyond belief, not getting the ball at all and 0 targets in the second half. And now he's showing the world what it is that he can do. The guy's unstoppable, man. And it's really, it's like people say Julio Jones. I think that's a great comp. I don't think I've seen anything like this. Even
he
Julio.
Looks like not an NFL player. He looks like an all-pro NFL player playing amongst college kids, and I'm not like exaggerating. Like he really does. Like you double team him, you're gonna get burnt. You triple team him,
crazy.
you might get lucky. Like
and the type of catches that he makes, right, and
Mhm.
contested catches. And I mean, I remember when he said after one game, it might have been Penn State, or I can't remember. He said, "No such thing as a 50-50 ball with me." I love that, right?
Yeah.
But when you talk, so I mentioned Chris Carter earlier, and I've talked to him about him because who better to talk to about wide receiver? And he is like saying the same things we're saying, which is crazy because Chris is like very, very particular when it comes to giving that type of praise and stuff like that. And so
he was pretty good himself, you know.
Yeah. So that's what really lets me know, like, okay, we're not just exaggerating. We're not just hype Buckeye fans who are just, living in the moment. Like we're actually seeing something that is special that we may never, ever see again.
Yeah, I already chilled. I don't know who's getting off my mountain, but he's making the Mount Rushmore Buckeyes already. Like as a freshman, I'm like, man, he might finish. I'm like, he might just be my favorite player I've ever seen because it's unbelievable what we're watching.
And if we go on and win a national title, a lot of it's gonna be because of him. And it's just gonna take it even to another level.
And you talk about that work ethic. I mean, he said, after one of the games where he didn't have such a good game, might have been the game against that team up north, where he said, I asked Brian Hartline, I went up to him and told him to challenge me, to give me more work, more challenge to get my game better, because I expect more out of myself to help this team win and winning games that we are supposed to win.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's part of, what eats at the greatest greats is that losing like that. Instead of just going and blaming, other people, you kind of say like, all right, what could I have done to have made this better? So, okay. So if I'm not going to get a target in the second half, what could I have done to make sure that I get targets so that I'm featured in this offense? What do I need to do? And that type of mindset, I mean, it's going to carry him so far. So I'm just so thrilled to have him as a Buckeye, as a Buckeye fan, be able to watch it. And I'm also able to enjoy it in the moment, right? I don't think we are going to have to look back and say, wow, that was, like we look back at like some, like maybe Michael Thomas or Terry McLaurin, all greats, right? And be like, wow, they were really good, But I think in this moment, we're able to see like, wait, hold on. We know we're watching something right now. Yep. We don't have to look back later that we may never see again. And so it's special. Really special.
He reminded me of David Boston so much. Like just how big and strong he is. I'm just like, man, had David Boston stayed healthy, he would have destroyed the NFL, man.
Yeah,
he was.
Man. David Boston was a beast. Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing. We have so many wide receivers in Ohio State history that we don't even mention, really.
Yeah.
Because our top five, everybody's top five is probably different,
Well, for us, it changes every like 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally become wide receiver use since.
Well, and you look and one other thing too, if you don't mind, is Emeka Egbuka, and not just because we have the same name, but he is such a good player. And one of the things that I'm really impressed with him is that he is a projected first round wide receiver talent.
Yep.
But people don't talk about him. They talk about Jeremiah, and so
our third receiver is almost first round talent.
Yeah, Carnell. But I'm talking about like Emeka last year could have been maybe first or second round. Came back this year, was clearly the number one guy. I mean, obviously Jeremiah was coming in. Nobody knew what he was going to do then. But a lot of the focus in that room has shifted, and he's handled it like an absolute pro, like a stud. Like and the whole team has done that. Very selfless team. They all know they're very confident in who they are, and they all play for each other, and they're not over there whining about who's getting the credit and who's getting the accolades and stuff like that. They're very confident. It's been a pretty sweet thing to watch, honestly, and I'm just really impressed with these guys so far.
Well, now this wide receiver core is going to get another test against another SEC team against Texas as we look forward to the Cotton Bowl. Just now under 48 hours to go before the semifinals at the Cotton Bowl in Jerry's World down there in Arlington, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yep.
What is going to be the key for a guy like Will Howard, who I know has been much maligned throughout the year, has been, many ups, many downs, people on his case, off his case, all of that. What is going to be the key? While we know that giving the ball to 4 has really worked, this is a much better secondary than they've faced in these first 2 games. what is going to be key for Will Howard to make sure he gets the ball in the hands of 4, but doesn't just lock in on him too much throughout the game?
I think it's going to be scheme, right? Because I think one of the things that when I'm analyzing this game, I feel like Texas's defensive line versus our offensive line is going to be the battle, probably one of the biggest battles to watch. It's not just that their secondary is good; they have a good defensive line and aggressive defensive line as well. And then as far as Will, I don't think he got sacked in either of the first 2 games. So the offensive line, and some of that was just good decision making and guys getting open, but a lot of it and some of it was good offensive line play, but some of it was also scheme, right? Scheming got this direction. You don't know what the hell is happening, right, from play to play. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah,
and I hope that we can have some of that as well. And then the other thing is Will has to be no early mistakes, right? So no telegraphing passes, right? You got corners that are going to be jumping routes, right? They're gonna know where you're going to be going with the ball. And yes, Jeremiah's a beast, but those guys are beasts back there too. I think they have a Thorpe Award winner back there. So
yes, they do. Yep.
Yeah. So I think taking care of the football, if you are going to 4, making sure that you're throwing really good balls, no early mistakes that dig us a hole, right? And then also, just being smart and being aggressive. But I think a lot of this really is going to come down to game planning, right? We're going to have to be scheming certain situations differently than we have against any other team. I think Texas, I know they had a bad game against Arizona State, so people are kind of like, looking at that game. But I think Texas can be disruptive. So for me, I think, just making sure Will doesn't get in his head. Right. I think the times when I've seen Will struggle a little bit is when he's made mistakes and he starts to get in his head a little bit. You saw that
he seems
Michigan.
like an emotional kind of person, for good or bad.
For good or bad, yeah. And so I think that's the key for him. And then obviously we have to have the running game going and to keep them off balance. So I expect a pretty good game from him. I don't think it's going to be the same type of game necessarily that we had against Oregon. But I think that I expect a pretty good game from him. And I think, I'm trusting Chip Kelly to scheme him in good situations.
I think defensively, Ewers is the name that everyone knows. I think it's the 2 running backs that get that offense going personally. Because they get going, then he sets up their play action and stuff, and they throw it to that tight end. And if you could stop their run game, man, I think you could shut down their offense. Because, defense is playing great.
I think our defense is really what wins us this game. My official score prediction is 31-17. I don't Ohio State, and I think that Texas. I think that will have some drives, particularly early on when they're kind of their scripted drives. They might have some stuff to make them look like world beaters. But ultimately, I think our defense is gonna shut them down. I think Quinn got sacked like a bunch of times in the last couple of games, and I just can't even. We had 8 sacks against Oregon, Dylan Gabriel, and they have supposedly had a pretty good scheming offensive line. So I think we're going to get to Quinn. I think we're going to disrupt them, and I think it's going to be a long night. In fact, I think we're going to see Arch Manning in this game.
I was just going to bring that up. Was it in your mind that if Quinn struggles early against this defense, that since that Oregon game, the way that you talk about the scheme that Jeff Knowles has come up with to get pressure on quarterbacks, like Arch Manning, they're already telling Quinn if he wants to come back, like they're moving on to Arch. Like they want that guy.
I think we're going to see him regardless. I think because if you look at Ohio, think about, if you're game planning against Ohio State after watching the last couple of games, you got to do something different, man. If you think you're going to just come and do the same things that we've seen you do on tape and beat us, that's not going to happen. So I think we see Arch in the first quarter, probably, maybe even the first couple series. They throw him in there just to make us think like, oh man, who is going to be the one, going in from play to play or series to series. I think they have to do that, right? And then, but definitely, if they don't do that for some reason, and Quinn is struggling, I think that they may pull a Tua type move and put Arch in there. The stakes are too high at this point. It's they can't care about ego so much, and they got to figure out a way to win this game. And right now, Ohio State's a juggernaut, so you got to throw your best out there.
Well, all this quarterback talk, and I can't. I'm absolutely ticked off with this team, and I don't want to really talk about them that much. We got a huge draft coming up, and I know you know your college ball.
Yeah.
Is there any quarterback that you would
I
want
was
the
hoping to
Browns to
avoid this
take,
tonight.
or do you
4
think
months.
it's not worth it? I know. It's like
It's funny. I actually saw somebody. I don't even know who did it, but somebody posted a mock draft for the Browns. It was like 12 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just the best quarterback in each round.
it's just if
I
you
like-
throw enough
I
poop
like-
at the wall, something's bound to stick.
I like Cam Ward, man. I like Cam Ward. I don't really know what's not to like. I think, there's some issue. I don't know. I think he has all the tools to be great, right? So Shador's not coming to Cleveland. I don't think Deion will ever let that happen,
Agreed.
even if we wanted him. But I think Cam is worth it, right? I think he has the tools. I think if you watched a lot of Miami this year, you would see him do things that nobody in the country, not one other player in the country, was able to do. So you get him in the right system, and NFL, and you guys, you know this. Look at Baker, right? So NFL is a lot. Look at Sam Darnold, right? Look, it's a lot about system at the end of the day. Yet a lot of these guys that we're talking about up here, they have a baseline of talent. Once you reach a certain baseline of talent, now it becomes about system, scheme, and coaching, and other players, other talent around you, and even good vibes, right? I think like those type of things I think matter more, and I think so. I think Cam has enough to make it worth it, and honestly. We're not in a position to not take a quarterback. I just don't think so. We have to kind of roll the dice there. So yeah, maybe people are saying it's not slam dunk like it's been in the past, but I don't know. I like him. I'm cool on Drew Aller. I don't see it the same way people see him. But maybe I'm missing something there. So I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if they take any quarterback there though. Honestly,
if we got Aller, I would be okay. Like second round, I don't want him in the first round. That's what made me excited about him. Like, oh, maybe we get this guy in the second round, and he could fit into the Stefanski offense. But yeah, I'm with you. If it's not Cam Ward,
he's going to be a first rounder.
Like if Tennessee takes Cam Ward, I'm auctioning off Shedeur Sanders and moving down to hopefully like 6 or something, and just being like, crap. I think Cam Ward's the only one worth a first round pick this year.
I'm fine with that analysis. I just hope that they don't mess it up, man.
Yeah.
They're going to. Don't worry about it. They will.
Honestly, this year, and I hate to say this, but this year is the first year in a long time, and we've had some bad seasons where I've really kind of just checked out at a certain point. Where I
canceled my season tickets.
Care. Yeah. Oh, did you? Okay. So you understand.
Yeah, I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I can't do this no more.
What is this? This isn't. There's. In other seasons, even when we had even with Johnny Manziel and even Baker years and stuff, there was like hope. You know what I mean? Like there was some.
Yeah.
0-16, we just at least knew we were gonna suck.
Right.
Like this year was just like so disappointing. We had so expectations, and again, it was like a winning season, a losing season, a winning season, a losing season.
And we have so much talent that's just like, being wasted. I feel for those guys. But watching Detroit, what they're doing gives me hope. Things can turn around. You know what I mean? So I just, I'm a hopeful Browns fan. I'm gonna always be that, right? I always get at this point in the season, but then the draft comes and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it again. And I convince myself we're gonna make.
I'm just not spending my money as much as I used to. That's for damn sure.
No, they're gonna have to earn that. And
yeah,
honestly, I think that's first time I've kind of really felt that in a while.
Well, the biggest piece in all this is that Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski being kept around. I mean, they know. I don't know how they're going to handle it.
Yeah,
but they know that their asses are on the line, and pressure's either going to make diamonds or burst the pipes, and we're really going to find out. Especially Andrew Berry, who's gotten the most questions this year about his draft record, people he's brought in here, all of the moves that he's made, some good, but a lot that have kind of derailed what this team has tried to do, and whatever. So we shall see.
The thing about let me say one thing about Deshaun.
Yeah,
and I, there's a little bit of revisionist history that's happening out here with people who don't like the Deshaun move, and that they're entitled to that. But there were a lot of teams that wanted Deshaun, a lot. Mm-hmm. There were teams that were bidding for Deshaun. So there were other teams that were willing to take the risk. We're not like some clowns that like nobody wanted him, and then we just were like, oh no, he's the guy. Was it worth it? Obviously not. But I'm just saying, like, there were other teams out there that were going for him as well. with big numbers too, not just maybe not record numbers like we did, but with real big numbers. And it's unfortunate because, it's not just the off the field stuff now, that obviously bothers everyone, but the on the field, we can't trust him on the field. We don't know what he's going to be. And now he's hurt again. It is a disaster. So I think that when you make a mistake like that, it sets you back so far, because it's not even just about what's happened on the field and the salary cap and stuff like that. It's also about vibes, man. There's one of the things that people don't talk about a lot in sports, and it's hard to, because how do you measure it, is vibes. Like, one of the things about Detroit that they got going, they got good vibes.
Cavs.
You know what I mean? Yes, exactly. 100%. Right. So that's one of the things that I just wish that we can figure out a way, is how do we get some good vibes back in there? Sometimes it's the players that you bring in, it's some free agents, it's some veterans, maybe it's a new coach.
Like Jameis Winston, I thought would have did that, except for the boatload of interceptions, kind of like we're killing the vibes big time.
Yeah. Those games were roller coaster games, man. They were some of them were fun, but they were like, you couldn't trust it. So anyway, I hope we do the right thing. Like Cam is the guy if we need to get somebody.
Yeah, I'm on board with you on that one.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Mekka, we appreciate your time tonight, and hopefully we can talk again, and maybe we can preview one more game this season and playing the final game for the Buckeyes. But one game at a time, and I know that this group is focused on Texas and doing all they can to move on to the national championship. MekkDon, thank you so much for joining us and what you do to help promote the Ohio State program and the Ohio State fan base.
Oh, no problem. Thanks, guys. And I'll be headed out there to Dallas, actually, for the game. So
be safe. Be safe.
One way to end this interview is
OH-IO.
Buckle up. Go Bucks.
Yeah, be safe out there with the weather out there, Mekka. I know that travel is going to be difficult trying to get into Dallas Fort Worth area.
Yes, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too. That is MekkDon joining us, talking Buckeyes. Before we do get out of here, I know, Cav, we're going to get out of here a little early, not as early as you wanted to.
No,
the only thing I will say on the Browns, because we didn't do a lot of opinionated stuff tonight. We can bring Ryan back next week with weather and stuff. We made sure he was safe tonight. So
he's got a hike.
Yeah,
like he takes
does.
A hell of a drive to get
Not going to tell you where he lives, but he's got a hike to the studio. Only thing about this draft that I'm going to caution everybody about right now. This is January 8th. The draft is not until late April, 4+ months away. There's a lot of people saying they want Cam Ward, and if Tennessee takes him, well, trade back and trade to number 6 or around that area. So you're not too far back. You can still get a decent haul, decent amount of picks, and still a really good player at whatever spot it is, whether it's 6 with the Raiders to try to get Shadur or whatever. Okay, if you're saying that right now, which I'm not saying that I disagree with that take, if they do trade down, because that scenario happens on draft night, you better not be blowing up Twitter and every show that's reacting to the draft saying, oh my gosh, Andrew Berry screwed over again. He traded down. He just does this every year. No, if people are asking for this and you get it, you don't get to complain. That's all I'm going to say.
Kevin,
that's all I'm going to say.
They're going to complain.
I know.
They're going to complain.
I'm just saying, I'm putting it on record right now. Peter, I'm putting it on record right now.
Write it on the board, that imaginary board behind.
We got plenty of time. We got plenty of time to break it down, give our opinions. Like, there's going to be rumors. There's going to be weird stuff that comes out and all of that.
Kevin, it's the draft. Honestly, most people will be excited because that's what happens at first. But there's going to be the people, the faction that are going to complain. Because, dude, you could say on Twitter, you know what? I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And if enough people see it, someone will complain about it.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Well, we are going to get out of here, but I do want to make sure that we talk about our friends over at Greeny Sports Cards. And
I do also want to say prayers for everyone
in California
right now.
The rainforest at the zoo, that caught on fire today, a part that they are going to be taking down, but there was a fire at the zoo today.
Jeez.
So there's a prayers to people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that have been dealing with the ice storms, the storms that went through the central part of the United States, people that are like Ryan, our buddy and co-host here on the show. Like, they've been certain parts of northern Ohio have been keep getting hit by snow, and unfortunately crews aren't able to keep up with what's going on. So prayers to everyone dealing with whatever out there. And of course, prayers to the was oh my gosh, Jimmy Carter and President Jimmy Carter and his family, as we did lose former President Jimmy Carter just a few days ago at the age of 100. Before we go, we want to thank our friends over at Greeny Sports Cards. Coming up Monday, January 20th, 9 to 3 p.m., Glen Eagles Golf Course, Glenwood Drive in Twinsburg. There is going to be the Glen Eagles Show. There's 70 or more 6-foot tables, $40 if you want to have your stuff and display out there to try to show what kind of collectibles cards that you have as well. And head on out to Glen Eagles Golf Course on January 20th to see all of this. You can email at cardshows@greenysportscards.com. Call or text our buddy Adam, 330-486-5159. Get all the details on everything that Greeny Sports Cards does. They do such a great job. So many different cards, collectibles. They've done some pop culture stuff, but a lot of times it's the sports stuff. And I'm sure that independent show will be coming up, and we'll be looking forward to having being a part of that, and maybe another baseball discussion or some sort of forum on the stage. We can't thank Greeny Sports Cards for partnering with us enough. So thank you so much to them. Reach out to them, greenysportscards.com. For our producer extraordinaire, Peter Tella, for Always Positive J, Always Practical J. Sorry, Always Practical J now. I want to make sure we, get that out there, that you haven't just gotten rid of the positive side. That's in life, but sports-wise, these Cleveland sports teams test your positivity on a daily basis. I am Kevin Hall, reminding all you sports fans, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all. 3,000.
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
I don't know what Ryan would say here, but live life, all gas, no breaks. We'll see you next week right here. We're looking for bigger things in 2025 on the Voice of the Land, the Big Play Network, the Be On Air Podcast Network, and with a new setup behind us. Have a great night, everybody.